All right, well, I'm getting ready to do a major, not a major, but a semi-major tune-up. Okay, I have my throttle body cleaner, I have the spark plugs, some injector cleaner, and you can't forget transmission filter. Okay, I think this car had like 80,000 miles maybe. I can't remember how many miles on it, but when you remove this intake, make sure you cover the lower intake up. You don't really want trash inside of it. Now, the reason I whipped out the camera is I ran into a semi problem. Okay, in the process of removing the spark plugs, cylinder 1, okay, very hard to get out of. This can happen, ladies and gentlemen. Over time, these coils just get so accustomed to being inside this head, they do not want to come out. So you got to work with this very slowly and just wiggle and wiggle till you finally can get it out. So I'm gonna let that sit for a minute, but like I said, I'm getting ready to do a semi-major tune-up. I can tell you the reason why I call it semi later, but for now I got a lot of work to do. It wasn't not very hard at all. Do not forget to change the spark transmission fluid, and also make sure you go in with ATF plus 4. Okay, so I'm gonna raise it up in the air and start on the trans fluid, but this coil is really bothering me. I don't want to break it because I use my spare ones on another car already. When they break, I don't try to repair them. I just get them a new one, another one. They're pretty semi-expensive, and I don't want to have to go back and tell the customer, you got to pay $100 and some for a new coil, when they didn't come in with a broke coil, but it broke in my possession, and to them, it's my fault. So here's what I'm going to use to rectify that. Here's what I tend to use. I tend to grab some of this. In fact, let me do one now. Just put a little dab on your finger. Just set it right there. Set some right there. And also, I will set some on the boot contact. Where the boot contacts the head. I'm working with one hand, y'all, so like that. See that? That will aid in removing and installing, okay? This gonna sit on top of the spark plug, not on the electric light. See, let's do this. See how much easier that will be able to remove from now on out. Okay, the next guy to do a tune-up on this is gonna really thank me for this. Okay, this is simply dielectric grease. All right, so that's what I tend to use on every ignition coil that I do on a Pentastar engine. That will aid the removing and installation process of the ignition coil. Make it very easy. All right, guys, I'm gonna finish up, wrap this tune-up up. A couple other things you can check, or you should check. Don't forget, of course, the PCV valve. That wasn't on the ticket, so I don't think they want that replaced. But that is of the same importance as everything else. PCV valve has to be working properly. All right, so here's my spark plugs. I'm gonna get started with the spark plugs. Let's try this again, y'all. Come on, baby. Do not do this to me, not today. Just give it. Okay, I feel. Oh, thank you. I got it out whole, y'all. And this is OEM, looks like it, okay? A lot of this problem stems from, especially trying to remove aftermarket ignition coil. They just come apart. Okay, this is OEM, which means it's good quality. It's just tend to want to stick inside the head. So, like I say, grab you some of this, and this should help aid the removal and installation process once you get it out. I managed to get this one out whole, so it should be okay. All right, I'm gonna go in with new spark plugs, and everything should be fine. All right, so let me wrap this up. I have a couple more things to do on the bottom. Let me go to another ad break. Hold tight. I will be right back. All right, guys, welcome back. Thanks for staying with me. I have the trans pan off and the trans filter. Okay, here's the filter. Now, okay, let's take a look at this fluid. Deteriorated a little bit. Could use a service. The interval I suggest is 60,000 miles. Okay, and this is just breakdown, semi-normal breakdown of could be clutch material from the torque converter. There's no way around that. You just got to do your part. Make sure you service the fluid in the filter every 60,000. This trans should hang around for a long time, guys. Okay, so do not use a gasket, any kind of gasket or paper gasket. Use an RTV. I tend to flatten my RTV down very well when on a clean pan, of course. So I'm gonna wrap the trans service up, change the oil, rotate the tires. I already inspected the brakes, things like that. So like I say, this is a semi-major tune-up. All right, so I want this thing to last a long time. It's a real friend of mine, semi-friend of mine, but I just want a car to last a while, and you should want yours to last the same length of time also. All right, so let me finish this up, and I'll close this thing out. Stay with me. There's one other thing I want to go over with you. I have got all the spark plugs in, getting ready to clean out the throttle body and install the intake manifold. One other thing I want to mention to you is make sure these intake gaskets, if you're going to reuse them, make sure they are reusable. Okay, if not, go ahead and get you some new ones. These are fairly inexpensive. In fact, they are very inexpensive, and they are easy to do, especially if you in here. Now, I went over a procedure that I always do on an earlier video when I have the intake manifold off. I highly suggest you do this also. In fact, I'll link that video right here. While you got the intake off, you should go ahead and clean the intake gaskets. Okay, I would highly recommend you do that. That will help you on hesitation. Not intake gasket, the intake valves. Okay, I highly recommend you clean the intake valves. You can do that by simply using well, watch the video that I link card in the upper part of this video, and find out the strategy that I utilize to clean the intake valves. All right, and last but not least on this so-called minor major tune-up is verify and make sure your controller, the PCM, the brain, is up to date. There's a lot of flash updates available for this car. In fact, on every last one of these minivans with the 3.6 liter Pentastar engine, there is a flash update improvement available. Okay, it's for drivability improvement. It could be for shift improvement, because as you know, the PCM has control over the transmission also. So let that be one of the last things you do to verify that you have properly tuned up this 3.6 Pentastar engine. All right, that is, I do that on every car, every tune-up. I verify that the computer is up to date. Okay, all right, let me finish this up.